Om Gyana Trimandasya Ganan Ganan Salakaya Chaksusumilitan Yena Tasma Sri Gurave Namo Sri Chaitanya Manobishtan Stapita Yena Bhutale Sanyarupa Kadama Yendadati Sampadantikam Bandeha Sri Guru Suyutam Patakamalan Sri Guru Vaishnamuscha Sri Rupan Sakyata Sahagana Raghunatha Vitantam Sajivan Sadhuitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devan Sri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padasahagana Lalita Sri Vishwakavitam He Kṛṣṇa Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantu Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radha Vrindavan Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripi Panchakapaturabhyascha kripasvindibhivacha patitanam papanabhebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadara Sivāśari Gaura Bhakta Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So the chapter, I think we are concluding the Chapter 1 of the Bhagavad-Gita, text number 43 today. And of course today is a very auspicious day. It's the appearance day, of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu Bhavatīty. So, Lord Nityananda's appearance day. Lord Nityananda, who is basically the second form of Lord Chaitanya, the expansion of Lord Chaitanya is called the expansion of a devotee. There are 5 absolute truths. So Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, Gadara Prabhu, and Srivas Prabhu. These are 5 absolute truths, Panchatattva. So today we are celebrating their appearance. Of course, this is discussed this morning in the classes. We have many classes all over ISKCON society, Vrindavan, Mayapur, and many other places. People can hear Nityananda Katha. And of course, by hearing and celebrating, thinking of Lord Nityananda, then we can attain love of Kṛṣṇa. As they said that Enonitai Binebai Radha Kṛṣṇa Paite Nai. That without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, no one can attain Radha Kṛṣṇa. Lord Nityananda is called is Prema Datta. He's the one that who brings the love of Radha Kṛṣṇa. Without him, it's not possible to attain. Because why? Because he's the Guru Tattva. It's Akanda Guru Tattva, Samasta Guru Tattva. The combination of all gurus is Lord Nityananda. It's the Samashti Guru. It's a combination of all the gurus. And there's also the Vyasti Guru. Vyasti Guru means individual gurus, which each of us may have, individual gurus. But Samasti Guru is Lord Nityananda. And all the gurus, all the individual gurus in this world, they are the representatives of that Akan Guru Tattva, that Samasti Guru, Nityananda Prabhu. So by His mercy, everything becomes possible by His mercy. So, just come back to the Bhagavad-Gita here, where Lord Kṛṣṇa, Arjuna is talking. Because Arjuna is he's making a lot of deliberation, he's deliberating about the fighting that is about to take place. He's giving all kinds of considerations. If this battle is actually worth it or not. Because according to him, those who are on the other side, they are not seeing the unfortunate side of why this battle should not take place. Because they are so eager to fight, because to satisfy the greediness of the other. But Arjuna is a devotee. Devotees, they are not interested in any position in this world. They are not greedy for any particular materialistic achievement or anything like that. Only if it's meant for the service of the Lord. If something will glorify Kṛṣṇa, if something will satisfy Kṛṣṇa, then they will do whatever it takes. Otherwise, they are not interested in achieving any position or anything in this material world. As mentioned in the Bhagavatam, 6th canto, that Narayana Parasave is that Narayana Parasave is Swagan Pavagan Narakesu is part of this verse. The devotees of the Lord, they don't care where they are. They can be in this planet, they can be in heavenly planets, they can be in the hellish planet. It doesn't matter where they are, because their focus, their absorption is in the Lord. Because their absorption is in the Lord, so they don't care where they are, in this planet, heavenly planet, or hellish planet, they don't care. So Arjuna has been weighing so many considerations why this fact, and of course Arjuna is feeling this moroseness, this dejection, vishada, this dejection, because he was thinking of many men getting killed. This is going to encourage dharma, religious principles, because many soldiers on the battlefield, they all are young men, which means young men who also have young wives at home. They have young wives at home, so if the husband is killed, so what's going to happen to all these young women? So all these young women, they will all engage in the irreligious activities, irreligious affairs. And the result of that irreligious affairs in terms of mixing, engaging in unnecessary procreation, so they will produce children who are considered to be varṇāśrama. And these children, they will simply create all kinds of disturbance in the society. So this is actually the text we are getting to today, where Arjuna is talking about those who destroy the family tradition. The family tradition is this varna and ashram tradition. By destroying it, so Arjuna is saying that, especially citing the authority of the Vedas. So we just read the text 43. Today I'm going to I will go through both text 43 and text 44. So text 43, chapter 1. Utsanna-kula-dharmāṇāṁ manuṣyāṇāṁ janārdana narake niyatam vāso bhavatīty anuśuśruma bhavatīty anuśuśruma. Utsanna, spoiled, kula-dharmāṇāṁ, of those who have the family traditions, manuṣyāṇāṁ, of such men, janārdana, O Kṛṣṇa, narake, in hell, niyatam, always, vāsaḥ, residence, bhavati, it so becomes, iti, thus, anuśuśruma, I have heard by disciplic succession. Actually, anuśuśruma should mean we have heard, because this is a plural. Bhagavad-Gita. All right. So, we read translation and purport by His Divine Grace, as a Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. O Kṛṣṇa, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. Purport. Arjuna bases his argument not on his own personal experience, but on what he has heard from the authorities. That is the way of receiving real knowledge. One cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being helped by the right person who is always established in that knowledge. There is a system in the varṇāśrama institution by which before death one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement called prāyaścitta. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as a result of sinful activities. So, and of course I thank everyone who has come here this evening, and also those who are listening from the Vrindavan TV. I'm surprised not too many people here today. What happened?
Because of opinion, they have not eaten too much in the feast.
Oh, too much feast.
They are taking rest.
Oh, I see.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That may be one reason. That may be one reason. Nice feast, was it?
Yeah, it's a nice feast. So the Arjuna is saying that I have heard from authorities, because in the very system, that is the way of acquiring knowledge, which means one must hear from the authorities. It's not that we accumulate knowledge by our own efforts, because when we try to accumulate knowledge by our own effort, there can always be, disturbance may be there in terms of doubt, which one may be unable to resolve the doubt if one tries to acquire knowledge by oneself. If I just go to a bookshop and I try to read a book on a particular subject, so obviously there are many, many things which will appear very cloudy. You may not be able to understand. So which means the textbook itself may not cover the actual knowledge. One must actually hear from someone who is expert in that particular field. Because by hearing, one can ask questions. Then by asking questions, one can receive the answer. So in this way, the knowledge can be received there properly. So Arjuna said, I have heard from authorities, especially those who are coming in a bona fide chain of disciplic succession, that those who destroy the family tradition then they go to hell. Now, this text that we are reading today, it said, those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. Utsanna-kula-dharmāṇāṁ manuṣyāṇām. This is what Arjuna is saying. Utsanna-kula-dharmāṇāṁ, which means destroying the family tradition. Because this family tradition, it comes in the form of jati dharma. Jati dharma means the caste principle, which means the family heritage, the family that one is born in terms of the one's varna, like Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. So that tradition is there, and everyone have to live according to particular regulations. So there's jati dharma, and then there's also the ashram dharma. Ashram dharma by which one has to live by, whereby especially those of the higher classes of society. So the ashram, they go through the ashram system, whereby one lives according to brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. So that is the ashram dharma. So the varna dharma is there, the ashram dharma is there, by which a civilized human being has to live according to that varna and ashram system, because after all, the Lord Himself, He established this, varṇāśrama charavata, that the varnashram system was established by the Lord Himself, because this is the way by which the material world is regulated. But it specifically says here that those who destroy the family tradition, then what is their destination? Their destination is hell. They go to hell if you destroy the family tradition. Now, in the previous, because there's a play of words here. We have the original Bhagavad-Gita before. This is later. This is the second edition of the Bhagavad-Gita. But in the original edition of Bhagavad-Gita, Prabhupada's Bhagavad-Gita, that is 72 edition. So it says same verse, utsanna-kula-dharmāṇāṁ, manuṣyāṇāṁ, janārdana, narake, niyatam, vāso, bhavatīty, anuśuśruma, same verse. But it said that, oh Kṛṣṇa, you are the maintainer of the people. I have heard, same line, by the disciplic section, that those who destroy family traditions dwell always in hell. Those who destroy the tradition. Whereas this translation says, those whose family traditions are destroyed. So you can say, if you try to follow the line of thought, so there's some changes here. Do you get my point? Yeah, those. Huh?
Typical.
Yeah, that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell in hell. But here, originally said, those who destroy the family tradition, they are they go to hell. So that is actually the proper reading, because I've checked also in some other translations of the Bhagavad-Gita, some other readings, and they pretty much say the same thing, that yes, those who destroy the family traditions, they go to hell. They live in hell. Narake niyatam vāsaḥ. So they live in hell. To live in hell means narake, in the hell, you live there. And then it says here, niyatam, always in hell. So this is what Arjuna is saying. This is what I've heard from authorities. Anuśuśruma, I have heard from the authority by this, authority, which means this is not just coming from me, this is what I've heard from the higher authorities. Just as it said that if we want to say something about the religious principles, so we always have to quote the authorities. We cannot just say anything coming out of our head. We have to, whatever we say must be backed up by authorities, by the authority of the Guru, Sadhu, and Sastra. That is the way of perfect knowledge. So Arjuna is a great person, he's of course a devotee of the Lord, devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa. So, being a great person, he said that, oh my dear Kṛṣṇa, I have heard that those who destroy the family tradition, they go to hell. So, which means he said that now we are trying to get these people to engage in warfare. Trying to get them to engage in warfare. And this act of engagement in the warfare, this is going to destroy the family tradition because, as I said in the previous verse, we have Arjuna, those who produce the varṇāśrama. Asankaro narake kula-dharmāṇāṁ kula-dharmāṇām patanti pitaro yesan lupta pindodaka kriha. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family traditions. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Because as mentioned in this purport here, that yes, our life is spent in committing all kinds of sinful activities. Because no matter what we do in life, somehow or other we always engage in sin. All our activities we are doing, that's the way of materialistic life. We always engage in some kind of a sinful activity, even though we may not know it. Just like if you are walking on the ground, you are killing so many living entities that you don't know. The act of eating, any part of act, we are engaging ourselves. We are committing sinful activities, and that's why the Vedas recommended the process of atonement, prāyaścitta. The Vedas recommend the process of jaga, the process of performing sacrifices, so that by performing such sacrifices, one can atone for the reactions, for the sinful reactions that one has committed, for the sins that one has committed through the performance of jaga. Just like there's a rishi jaga, the performance of sacrifice to the rishis. There's deva jaga. There are 6 types of jaga which are mentioned in the scriptures: rishi, deva, Pitri jaga to the forefathers. All these various jagas are there, which are recommended. So as Prabhupada mentioned here, that one has to, before death, one has to undergo the atonement, prāyaścitta, for all one's sinful activity. One has to undergo the atonement, prāyaścitta. So which means one who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement, which is prāyaścitta. Because by this atonement, then one can be relieved of sinful activities, of the reactions to the sinful activities. One can be relieved from that. Just like in the Christian tradition, the church, they have a way of confessing the sins. A person will go to church on Sundays and go and confess to the pastor in the church that I have committed this, I have done this, I have done that, I have done this, I did this. And then the pastor will say, okay, you've done this, okay, you just go do this, do that, then you can be free from your sin, because you come to confess for the sins. But at the same time, people go to church to confess for their sins, but they again and again every Sunday they go back again and again to confess for the sins. So which means you're not really serious. They just go and confess for the sins. But very system, of course, it's not like that. That one realizes that yes, one has performed some sinful activities. So therefore, one go look for a saintly person who can direct one in the process of atonement, in the process of prāyaścitta. Just like many people come here to Vrindavan, they go to many places of pilgrimage. They come to Vrindavan, or they go to Prayag, or they go to Rishikesh, so that they, by being there, take bath in Yamuna or Ganga, visiting many places of pilgrimage. By doing that, they get relief from the sinful reactions. By doing that, one get purification from one's sinful reactions by doing that. And all this one is supposed to do before one leaves this body. One's supposed to do that before one leaves. That's why it mentioned that when person become old, especially after the age of 50 or the age of 75, that one should go to a place of pilgrimage. A person is supposed to take Vanapras and go to a place of go to the place of pilgrimage. What is that? There's one very beautiful verse in the Canto 7, whereby Haripada Astraye, that once you go to a place of pilgrimage and take shelter of Lord Hari. I forgot the actual text. So because by taking shelter of the Lord's devotees, they're taking bath in the holy river Ganga Yamuna, then one becomes relief of one's sinful reaction. Otherwise, if one doesn't do that, then in the next life you go to a hellish situation. You have to suffer for what you've done in this life. You have to suffer for it. You have to suffer for all the sinful reactions. But if you do the atonements, you do atonement according to the advice, the prescriptions of the sadhus, the saintly persons, then you can be free from the sins. And of course, now in the Vaishnava theology, that when one is free from the reactions of sins, then one takes up Haribhajan. Haribhajan, it's easier to take. One takes up Haribhajan because it's only when there is a relief of sins, then that's when Haribhajan becomes possible to perform. So all these prāyaścitta which are recommended in the scriptures, this is the way whereby one becomes free from sin, and then one can take shelter of the Lord. And then by taking shelter of the Lord, then there's no coming back to this material world. So at the end of one's life, one goes to the spiritual world. Whereas, even though one may perform prāyaścitta, atonement, still, if one does not take shelter of the Lord, one does not become the Lord's devotee, then once you have to again come back to the one will stay here, and then one will again engage in materialistic activities. And by engagement in materialistic activities, it will be the accumulation of sins. So it's like the whole process of samsara, the whole cycle. Samsara, that's the way the cycle works. So the Arjuna is saying here that I have heard that those who destroyed family tradition. So because if all these men are killed, because those who have gathered on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they will all be killed, and their death will build the cause of all the family of all the traditions being destroyed, because they will be the cause of their dependence to engage in sinful habits. They be the cause of it. So Arjuna is saying that, this is a serious thing, that why do we engage in this? Why should we engage in this warfare? So in the next verse, text 44, Arjuna says, Aho bhata mahat papam katum vyavashita bhayam yad raja shuka lobhena hantun swajanam buddhyatha. So translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Purport. Driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world. But Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles and therefore takes care to avoid such activities. So the Pandavas, even though they are Kshatriyas, they are meant to be the rulers, but they are great devotees of the Lord. They are the Lord's pure devotee. As Lord Krishna says later on that, Bhaktoshime Shaka Cheti, that you, my devotee, Bhaktoshima, you my devotee, and Shaka is also my friend. So Arjuna is he has a rise with the Lord. He's Shakira. Shakiras is a friend of the Lord. Actually, as he mentioned in the scripture, that Arjuna is always there whenever Lord Krishna takes his particular incarnation. Arjuna is always there. He's an eternal friend of Krishna. But of course, they are playing this role of the Pandavas, playing this role of Kshatriyas. Now they engage, they have to be involved in all these affairs with their cousins, the Kauravas. So Arjuna is saying that we have this because we have been driven by these selfish motives to enjoy the royal opulence. So therefore, because of this motivation, so we are ready to kill our own kinsmen. So Arjuna is thinking, because Arjuna is a great person. His vision, he only thinks of what may happen to others. That's how a devotee thinks. A devotee never thinks in terms of your own self. So, it's our common experience that in this world, when it comes to personal desires, a person is ready to do anything. When it comes to fulfillment of one's personal desire, one becomes blind because one becomes blind to the extent that one is ready to commit to kill one's brother, even parent. We see all the time. We read it we see it in the news all the time. Every time, just like about a week ago, one fellow, he just took a gun and killed all his parents. Kill his parents, kill his two brothers, because he wants to take over the house. This happens in every country. Here in India, it's very common here in India. The brothers always fighting, killing each other, or they do things to each other. Every country, this is there. Because the selfish desire is so paramount. The paramount. And that's why the devotees of the Lord, they are trained that yes, fulfill only Krishna's desire, not your desire. Make your desire into Krishna's desire. Fulfill that. Then you'll be satisfied. So that's why devotees, they don't have personal desire. But it's not that they are devoid of desires, because desire must be there. But their desire is Krishna's desire. So, and of course, Krishna's desire is the supreme desire. So devotees, they work mainly for the fulfillment of the desires of Krishna. That's what devotees work for, not for the other things. You know. So, as Prabhupada mentioned here, because Arjuna, being a saintly devotee, is always conscious of moral principles, and therefore takes care to avoid such activities. So Arjuna was very, very grave, thinking that, because he has given all these various examples. He has given various examples of of all the religious activities which have been committed, all the the traditions which will be affected. So he has given so many considerations. So many considerations. So therefore he said, it's very, very strange that we are ready to commit these sinful activities of war, killing so many men, killing under the all the traditions will be destroyed. So just because of the fulfillment of personal desires, just because of this. So Arjuna is telling Krishna that why should we do this? After all, we are in full knowledge of all these things. We are in full knowledge of all these things. Why should we engage in all these activities? Why should we even be wanting to kill? Why should we be wanting to engage in warfare, in this battle? Why should we want to do that? With all this knowledge of sins, of tradition that we have, why should we be wanting to do this? Because a great person, they do things with proper consideration. They do things. They consider pros and cons of anything before they can engage in any particular act. So they consider pros and cons, and then they can make before they can make any particular deliberation. Then of course, majority of people in this material world, they don't give such thought. Why? Because people in this world, everyone is motivated only by personal desires, because of selfishness. So everyone is motivated to do their own, so they just do things without the consideration of whether it's good for everyone, without such consideration. And of course, this battle of Kurukshetra is definitely good for all, because first of all, it's Dharma Yudh, it's a religious welfare, because the Lord himself is coming the Lord is there, he is wanting to make sure that this battle takes place. This fighting takes place. Because by such battle, all the irreligious elements in the world will be taken care of. Because the Lord, he connected us to say, Yada Damasha, Glani Bhavati Bharata, Abhitana Damasha, Tadat Matsujamaya, Yada Damasha, Glani Bhavati Bharata. So I come here whenever there is a religious act. So therefore the Lord comes to eradicate the irreligious elements, and all the parties, both sides, who have gathered, because we are talking of 18 Akshoni soldiers, 18 Akshoni divisions of so many soldiers. I think that one Akshoni divisions of the army, it runs into several millions. The calculation was given there sometime in the Gita. So the Kauravas, they had 11 Akshauhini divisions of soldiers, and the Kaurava and the Pandavas, they have 7 Akshauhini divisions, which makes 18. So it's quite a big army. Just now, we don't know what's going to happen in the next several weeks. That Russia may invade Ukraine, and if Russia invade Ukraine, that will get the West upset, and NATO, they may want to involve in war with Russia. But if they do that, then that may cause World War III. We just hope that it's not going to happen. So war is never pleasant. So much destruction will be there. But this particular war is Dharma Yudh. It's a religious war, Dharma Yudh. Because it's meant to get rid of all the bad elements and then establish the dharmic atmosphere, the religious atmosphere in the planet. So this is the desire of the Lord, and this is what is going to be proven in the subsequent chapters, because Kṛṣṇa is going to be telling Arjuna that how. Anyway, as we begin the chapter 2, we're going to be hearing of how Kṛṣṇa first of all chastised Arjuna, because Arjuna has said so many things that Kṛṣṇa chastised him. So we're gonna hear that as we get into the chapter 2. So, and of course, Arjuna, being a great person, he is giving all this consideration. This is due to his kindness. His coming to the battlefield was not that it's not that he just wanted to, get a revenge on the Kauravas. It's not that he just wants to get a revenge. So, even those who are very Mahabharata, you will see that even like Yudhishthira Maharaj, it's not that the Pandavas want this war. It's not that they want it, but they are being forced to do it by the Kauravas. They are being forced to want to engage in this warfare. So therefore, and because this war must take place, you have to do it, and that's what's going to happen. Okay. So I'm going to stop here. If there is any comments, question? Some, yeah, okay.
Thank you. Very good class. You have explained a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Make understand why Arjuna is not interested to have fight and what his suggestions he is giving for not having a war. But I am concerned regarding as Arjuna is a very intelligent person and a warrior, and he knows that this yuga, coming yuga, he is in the Dwapar. So Dwapar is about to end and Kali is coming. And for Kali, they have mentioned already that there is declination. The declination of all religious symptoms have to happen. Mm-hmm. So when he knows all these things, why he was hesitating to have a war? And it is not going to solve all the problems at the same point. Mm-hmm. So my point is, Arjuna knows each and everything, understands each and everything. Mm-hmm. Even then, he was hesitating to have a fight. And while he has to fight the things. Yes.
Yeah, as I said, that this is a Dharma Yudh because the Lord Himself is there. And also, even this battle was also approved by all the authorities, by Grandfather Bhishma Dev. They also approved the war. Yeah, he approved it.
He has approved the war.
Even though he was fighting on the other side, but he approved the war himself. Bhishma he approved the war because he knew that what his other grandchildren are doing is irreligious. So he also approved it. Even Arjuna's guru, Dronacharya, he approved the war. Now, we may say, because now all the scenarios are being prepared, but the most important thing of why this battle took place, or about to take place, is because Lord Kṛṣṇa have to give this knowledge to the world. The Lord has to give Bhagavad-Gita to the world. If Arjuna did not raise his doubt of why this war should not take place, then there will be no Bhagavad-Gita. So Arjuna raised his doubts. He became dejected. So when he became dejected, then the Lord spoke the Bhagavad-Gita to him. Otherwise, there will be no Bhagavad-Gita. So therefore, the dejection or the knowing about the war, whatever it is, this is like the ground was being prepared. The ground was being prepared so that the Bhagavad-Gita can be heard.
So again, your point is very good, but can I ask another question?
Yeah.
For giving a class, the Gita message to all the public, they have killed around almost all the people of the world at the time.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you have to know the people of the world, they were irreligious elements. They've all gathered on the battle of Kurukshetra.
At that time, they have killed all the public. It is my assumption that in the war, almost everybody has joined the war, and only 5 people were left, 5 or 7, whatever.
But not only the warrior class. Only the warrior class, not everybody. See, you know, there are 4 classes. There are, Kshatriyas, there are Vaishyas are there, Sudras and the Brahmanas are there. And then there are Antyajas, those who are outcast. So the world is full of people, but only the warrior class who are who have become very irreligious. So they are the ones who are being gathered on the battle of Kurukshetra. Only the warrior class who are actually irreligious. As you can see, all the friends.
That's probably what they are.
Yeah. So all the friends of Jordan who are like irreligious Kshatriyas, like Jadrata, who kidnap Draupadi. So many like that. So all the those who have become irreligious, who have developed the demonic mentality, basically. So those are the ones who were gathered on the battle of Kṛṣṇa, and they were annihilated, which actually fulfilled the mission of the Lord, because the Lord's mission is to kill the miscreants, is to get rid of them. So the war of battle of Kurukshetra was meant for that, to get rid of all the miscreants. And that's why Kṛṣṇa said that, my dear Arjuna, all these people, they've all been killed by my arrangement, but you are simply my instrument to give you the glory. He said, all these people, they killed already. Because when Arjuna saw the universal form, he could see that all these soldiers, they all run into the mouth of the universal form. They all run into the mouth of the Lord. But the Lord always wants to give glory to his devotees. Just like we are preaching Krishna consciousness, but who is actually a preacher? The Lord is the actual preacher. But the Lord uses devotees to preach so that he can give glory to his devotees. Because the Lord, he likes his devotees to be glorified. So that's how the Lord's merciful is. So therefore, Arjuna, the Pandavas, they are the Lord's devotees. And of course, when you read the Mahabharata, so many lessons are there regarding the battle. Then you can also hear the instruction from Bhishma Dev, so many things. So the main point is to give this teaching. But this battle, all these men who were gathered on the battle of Kurukshetra, these were all people in the warrior class who have become demoniac, basically. So they all have to be, get rid of. Okay. Hare Krishna. All right, Prabhupada ki.